pictures at Valley Road right now as they head to Parliament. Hundreds of thousands of Kenyans have paid their respects to the former head of state, hailing him as a leader and as a father of democracy. Many have mentioned that how they interacted with him on a personal level. And we also have KANU chairperson Gideon Moore, who yesterday said that Kenya lost a hero after passing on of former President Kibaki. Speaking when he visited the late former president residence in Muthaiga, Nairobi, to condole with the family, Gideon Moore said that in his condolences are a personal nature, as a family friend, and also their condolence books that have been sent across the country where Kenyans can now sign and pay their last respects to the third president of the Republic of Kenya, Kibaki. Many people have described him in different ways. In fact, there's another one, former State House Controller and late President Kibaki's longtime friend, John Matere Keriri, who also remembered him as a man who had the interest of Kenya at heart, having met at the Makerere University College in Uganda in 1959 when Kibaki was a lecturer and Matere a student. His first lesson from the former president was, for anything you do, you must first have a strategy. Many have also described him as a man who liked to keep to himself and was a man of few words. In fact, there's someone who mentioned that the ex-president never gave tips and loved his privacy while he was having his drink. Retired President Kibaki, who died on Friday last week, was not keen on giving tips for service given to him. That's according to Sebastian Ogutu, who worked for the defunct East African Airways based in Dar es Salaam, that's in Tanzania. He said that Kibaki also did not eat his meals in a crowd. Ogutu, who worked as a food and refreshment loader for the airline, said that he served food to the late president at the airport when even Kibaki visited the country on official duties. Many people hailing the former president as a man who had the best interest of the country at heart. The clergy as well came in. Retired Nyeri Catholic Archbishop Peter Kairu also remembered the late former president Kibaki as a humble politician who never spoke politics in church. In fact, the prelate said that Kibaki never missed a mass every time he was in Nyeri, and that he was always punctual and never wanted recognition. Speaking at his Kamakwa home, the cleric noted that at times he could personally ask the former president to greet the congregation, but he refused, maintaining that he attended the church as a Christian and not as a leader or as a president. That is the procession now heading to Parliament, where his body will lie in state for the third day running. Hundreds of thousands of Kenyans have already paid their respects to the former head of state. They will continue to do so today before the procession now heads to Nyeri for the state funeral. All flags are still flying at half-mast. There's no flags on any of the official vehicles as well, in honor of the third president of the Republic of Kenya. Many have mentioned that he was a man of few words, but a man of action. We'll also be having some of them in studio here who have worked personally with him. Alfred Mutua is here, Dr. Alfred Mutua, governor for Machakos, but in this conversation, he'll be speaking in his capacity as a former government spokesperson, interacted quite a lot with the President Kibaki. We'll find out from him what his style of leadership was like. David Musila, former deputy speaker and also former Kitui senator, who is going to join us later on as well. And Farah Malim, former deputy speaker as well, will be joining us to speak about the legacy of Kibaki. But let me bring in Mutua on this just before we take that quick break. In reflections, what do you remember the most about Kibaki and his style of leadership during your times as the government spokesperson?
I think personalities are very important. And I want to say jumbo to our viewers from everywhere at this sad moment in the history of our country, when we've lost a great man who was not just great because he was the president, but because of the work that he did. The thing I remember most about Kibaki in his style of leadership is the aura that he had.
Yeah.
I was talking to a radio station and they said people loved him and feared him in equal measure. People never feared Kibaki. Kibaki was not feared, but he was highly respected. And I think it's that sense of ethics and morality and straightforwardness that made people respect him. You didn't want to be on his bad books, not because you do something bad to you, but because you really want to annoy him. You really want him to see you as a bad person. I remember that a lot about Kibaki. He was a good, steadfast man, and we worked closely for many, many years, and a lot of stories that I'll tell you. Because today I don't just talk about Kibaki and his economics. I want us to unravel Kibaki the person.
Yes.
Because it is that person that became a president that really changed the lives of our people.
Yeah, before you'd go on this press and speak about issues to do the government as the government spokesperson, would he first ask you, Alfred, unaenda kuambia watu nini?
No, he gave us a free hand, and Kibaki believed in systems. And so the system, I was under cabinet office, working with the head of public service, Ambassador Francis Mudhora. That's somebody you should get to interview, by the way. We knew him intimately in terms of work. And he trusted the government system. And we shared with him, we had State of the Nation meetings every morning where we discussed the issues at hand and everything. But at times we even issued statements, we didn't have to clear everything. He trusted the government process. He trusted the government process. And there are times when we played mischief, We knew that you say something that is very controversial, and then he will a few days later say, "Apana, kitu gani hiyo?" But the message has been made.
Yeah.
The person has been warned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly for us. And that's how we manage the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in terms of temperament, you mentioned that he was a cool person. What was your experience with him? When he was annoyed, how would he react? When he was not annoyed, when he was happy, would you tell? Would you look at the president and say, "Imudi yake leo sipoa"?
Kibaki was never, I've never seen Kibaki angry.
Yeah.
And we worked together for nearly 10 years. Seeing him nearly every day, never saw him angry. I think he left his anger at home or outside, and he came to work. He was never, actually, no, I'm lying. I'm not lying, I saw him angry once.
Yeah.
Once. You see, there are several things about Kibaki that people don't realize, that Kibaki was a perfect gentleman in terms of running government. He did not allow the use of mother tongue in government offices.
Yeah.
So there's one time a cabinet minister in a government meeting switched to Kikuyu. And he was so angry, he banged the table. He said, "This is a government office. This is not your home. This is not your village. Here we speak English or Kiswahili." It didn't matter whether you're Kikuyu, whether you're from his village, whether you're whoever. Even his kids, when they came to see him, they spoke to him in English in office. You don't bring mother tongue to government offices, because it was about Kenya. It was not about one tribe. And he demystified the whole tribal thing. There was no Kikuyu spoken in State House, because that was his mother tongue.
Yeah.
It was either English or Swahili. So I saw him get angry. The other time I saw him close to a temple was when he reprimanded one minister who had spoken ill about another minister, because he didn't have space for that.
Yeah.
He is squabbling, he kama watoto wachana nayo kutukanana huko nje, and you're in the same government. But he was a man of cool temperament. He was cool. At times he kept quiet, and he knew he was not happy about something. And then Kibaki never said no. But we knew when he meant no.
It was implied.
It was implied.
Yeah.
And so you'd get people coming, and they would have requests. And for example, after the post-election violence, there's a way you'd come to KICC, said not to work from Harambee House, not KICC, and you'd get into his office, and the office had his official table where you'd work, but then it had the normal sofa set system. So you'd sit with his back to the window, facing the door, and I was told by Njenga Karume, that is how, men, in homesteads, you don't sit with your back to the door. You want to know who is coming in and going out.
Yeah.
Because traditionally, people are polygamous. You want to know who is going to that house. Usizaliwa watoto wa jirani. So you'd be facing the door, and there would be a couch to his left, a 3-seater, and another single-seater, and then his table would be on his right. And I would either sit close to him on the left-hand side. The head of public service, Ambassador Mudhora, and later Kimemia, sat directly facing him. And I would either sit there. When ministers came, you move. When people came, you move. You sit away and sit there. Or sometimes I would sit opposite. There's the seats you have that are next to the table, the official table.
Yeah.
I would take one of them close to him with the comptroller of State House would be there. So would brief him, and you'd get so you'd sit in, and you'd be somber. And when somebody came and asked him something, he approved immediately. He never played games.
Yeah.
He said, "Hiyo ni mzuri, hiyo tuangalie, tufanye hivi," and would give instructions. "You do this, give me a report."
Yeah.
If you like something, you said, okay, haya, nimesikia. That was a no.
Yeah.
Hiyo nimesikia.
But you would never say
no.
no.
It was dead on arrival.
Yeah.
But he never said yes when he meant no.
Yeah.
He never lied to anybody. Nobody walked out of that office feeling they have made a deal or the president has agreed and then he tells us hakuna kitu kama hiyo or he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
He kept his word. I went to see Ambassador Francis Mudhaura the other day and we were reflecting how Kibaki never deceived people.
Yeah.
How he never lied to anyone. How he never led you on. How he never made you feel like it is okay. He never played politics with you.
Yeah.
He believed everybody had to be given respect. And I think that is why he also found it very hard to fire people. Because he used to say, huyu tunamfuta kazi, yuko na bibi, yuko na watoto, yuko na relatives, analea watu. Are we really sure hii vitu ameingiliwa ni ukweli? Because he didn't like fitina. And he'd been in government long enough, especially during the Moi era, when he knew that somebody can finish you with a lie.
Yeah.
Fitina uende nyumbani. But you're not just affecting you. Kibaki thought beyond the person.
Yeah.
You know this person has a family that will get hurt. So he had to be right before he fired somebody.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break and come back and talk about Kibaki the man and how the briefings were like. At what time would they start? What would you talk about? And of course, also during your tenure as the government spokesperson, find out how Kibaki led that docket as well. All right, we're taking a quick break here. When we come back, Kibaki's body is heading to Parliament again, to lie in state again for the third day straight before the state funeral is happening. Right now, they've told the procession is at Uhuru Highway. We'll be giving you those are live pictures there. So, of course, heading into Parliament where Kenyans are allowed to also go and view the body and pay their respects to the third president of the Republic of Kenya. Many have hailed him as a man of few words, but a man who had the best interest of the country at heart. All right, we'll come back with that in just a bit.